I love being in love. It's the best feeling in the world. I think I had a more European outlook about the body and sex. The body is in no way dirty, and sex is something beautiful to give to and share with a lover. It has nothing to do with promiscuity, because I only believe in being in love with one man at a time. I want a happy marriage and whatever it takes to achieve that, but I think the main prerequisite would have to be respect. He would have to respect me and vice versa. And, that would be more important than being in love. I think respect really goes a long way, and he would have to keep me happy, and he'd have to be very, very, secure. I did the vow because I really love being in love. I was in love with the idea of being in love with a woman way before I was actually in love with one. I'm all for being in love, and whenever I like someone, I end up pretty much completely smitten. Being in love is the best feeling on the planet. I really believe that love makes the world go round. Angels is about being in love. The state of being in love is so inherently preposterous. It usually lends itself to romantic comedy. I think we've all been there. Being in love with somebody is a wonderful feeling. Before, I was really passive. All I cared about was being in love with my boyfriend. I didn't have any creative power, nothing. I don't know that person anymore. I spent my entire youth being in love with gay men because they were the most interesting and compassionate people I knew. There will always be a beach boys. Being a beach boy is like being in love. The fascination of somebody with original creative gifts is something that's always drawn me. I get attached to them, but I can't call it being in love, because the words are so debased. Being in love is the best thing in my life. I think that one of the things that you do learn is that falling in love and being in love with someone is a rarity. That you don't fall in love as many times as you think you're going to. And then when you do, it's really special, it's really important. Being in love with a lot of people is incompatible with a stable family life. I have a song about being in love. I have a song about being supportive. There's inspiring ones, and there's some that show a little bit more fun and daring. It really is a range of who I am. I'm in love with beauty and things and people and love and being in love, and those things, I think, on the inside, show on the outside. I love being in love. The moment you start being in love with what you're doing, and thinking it's beautiful or rich, then you're in danger. I have a very large shoebox overflowing with lyrics I've been writing and collecting since my teen years and into my late 20s, with lyrics from all walks of my life. Darkness, being in love, being heartbroken, finding yourself, and lyrics that I've been sitting on for, like, 7 years, that I haven't done anything with. The second song is called Easy as Life, which really describes the complete conflict of the whole story, her struggle of being in love with the enemy and also being in love with her people. I have more of a desire to write songs about being an independent woman than being in love, songs about getting up and moving on even if I have a broken heart. Wanna Say is one of the few love songs I've ever done. I feel I'd like to share my luck and my life. Being in love is the best thing in the world. One of the things that struck me about the 1870s, which we still haven't nearly addressed, is what to do about the male-female divide. One of the forbidden topics is when men own up to the omnivorousness of their sexual interest and how to square that with being in love with an individual woman. One of the things I say is, you want to know what it's like to be a baby? It's like being in love for the first time in Paris after 4 double espressos. And boy, you are alive and conscious. I love that feeling of being in love, the effect of having butterflies when you wake up in the morning. That is special. I do take very good care of myself, and I'm always in love. And by that I mean I have an appetite for life. I'm in love with beauty and things and people and love and being in love, and those things I think, on the inside, show on the outside. I have a song called Training Wheels, and it's about being in love with someone and taking it to the next level by taking off the training wheels. There's a big difference between falling in love and being in love. There's a big difference between infatuation and falling in love. But no one frees himself from being in love in 3 days. Romantic love came under attack, first from the Freudians and then from the neuroscientists, who said that being in love was a chemical reaction in the brain. Marriage is no longer seen as a lifetime commitment. Being in love is not cool. In life, you have to take the pace that love goes. You don't force it. You just don't force love, you don't force falling in love, you don't force being in love, you just become. I don't know how to say that in English, but you just feel it. I always knew I wanted to have children. When I met my husband, Rand, I thought, this is the guy. When you are getting ready to become a mom, being in love with someone just isn't enough. You need to think about whether he would be a good parent and raise your children with similar beliefs. I think being in love with life is a key to eternal youth. You can't think your way to being in love, or able to be loved. However, intellect is also useful for things like understanding books. The very success of the modern American family, where kids get punctually to SAT tutoring classes, the mortgage gets paid, the second-story remodel stays on budget, surely depends on spouses not being in love. I'm so single. It's funny, I'm usually a relationship girl. I love being in love and having a partner in crime. But it's good to be your own partner in crime. God, that makes me sound like I have multiple personality disorder. You can write a song about being in love with someone, but you don't have to be in love with anyone. Going through puberty, that Cape Canaveral of the hormones, young girls are in love with the idea of being in love, trying it out for size. They say marriage will change you, but it didn't change me. Being in love changed me. Of course I love being in love, but it is marriage that really fulfills me, but not in every case. I have more of a desire to write songs about being an independent woman than being in love, songs about getting up and moving on even if I have a broken heart. I like relationships and being in love, but I also like being single. You have to embrace all those different things. There's no changing your mind about whom you love. That's part of the tough thing about being in love, it's sort of undeniable. Being in love, and I'm not an expert in this, I've lived it as much as anyone has, but I've not dissected it. I love emotion. I love being in love, and showing that on screen. I think it's wonderful. I have a feeling that being in love sometimes means the projection of your desires onto another person. The important thing is that you like the other person, respect the other person and want to raise children with the other person. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.